Okay, so it has finally come to this. Here we are. I didn't want to do this. I told you I would never do it when I first started this channel, but now it happened. You guys kept pushing me. You couldn't leave well enough alone. So now I have to freaking do it. And I have seen some bad shows. I have seen the worst Nickelodeon ever made and more. I should have known that you ungrateful Patreon users would set me up. You threw me a curved ball, and I have honor. I have a sense of duty, unlike some YouTube users I can think of and name. For many years, I have maintained a level of professionalism, skill, and pure logical analysis towards cartoons that has gone on for many years. So I get why you want me to talk about this, but seriously, my feud with this show and its creator are well known and long known as well. I put the blame all on you guys for having to see this travesty upon the earth and the people. Where to even do I begin with this one? Monster by Mistake was created in the 1919s by a computer in Canada, the brainchild of Mark Mason of Catapult Pictures in Canada, a renowned figure in the atheist community. This show had several seasons over the course of several years, each of them bad. The show saw minor success and has a dedicated fan base that likes the show to this very date, I assume. Now, originally, I thought this was a follow-up to The Monsters University, the classic movie from Disney's studio Pixar. Despite having a monster in the name, the show is not related to Monsters University at all. Talk about false advertising. This is a classic mockbuster trick like ratatouille or Happy Feed. With that out of the way, let's get into the show proper. The most glaring issue with the show is its most obvious flaw. Do I even need to tell you? Use your stupid eyes. Animation should exist to excite and amaze. As a medium, it allows for creativity in ways that are not seen. That's why I love animation. Monster by Mistake is an perfect example of how modern animation can just look plain bad. While watching this show, it feels like you are staring at people who aren't even real. I cannot possibly bring myself to become convinced that the characters I am viewing exist in a real physical actual space. I strain my eyes at Billy Castleman and Gorgle and the dogs and animals in the program, and I can't even tell if it's animation or people in costumes. If only the creators of Monster by Mistake studied the impeccable character design choices that the Overwatch team put into play for the Overwatch characters, then maybe we'd have people cosplaying as Gorgle and Johnny the Ghost and his sister. A real animator can make a cool animation that looks good, especially today. In the days of Facebook and online users, we have seen many independent artists arise and make truly cool stuff for free. Cool animation like Fairly Odd Parents or Tough Puppy is like taking a sip from the world's greatest pina colada with a hot babe. Look at it. The movements are stilted and not fluid at all. It looks like that old video game, Tak and the Powers of Jube Jube. But is this a cartoon TV show or an ad for medicinal drugs? This is not the type of animation that should be on the TV. This demeans the word animation. It's bad, guys. Really bad. I'm offended to say the very least. What program did they even use for this? Flash Adobe Animate? This isn't the beautiful hand-drawn animation that we all love and want to see. If it isn't on paper, it shouldn't be on the television, and that's what you all know I say all the time. The story focuses on the struggle of the monster by mistake and his ilk as they oppose Gorgol, who desires power and dominion. Of course, like Team Rocket, he never wins. If you want a real believable dark stories with real victories and losses, and heroes on both sides look elsewhere, you will not find intelligent adult storytelling here. Over the course of the seasons, the tone became more and more infantile, and it really gave up on trying to say anything more meaningful, and there are some racially questionable elements as well. The main character monster looks like a certain character from Marvel movies. The characters are quite similar in many ways, both physical and mental. Both are big and look alike and desire to rid themselves of the current situation, but don't worry, Marvel heads. Thanos is a much cooler character and a lot more powerful too. Typical. All of the characters seem to be rather weak. The main antagonist, Gorgol, seems powerful, but is trapped in an orb for most of the show. And there are only one or two cool fight scenes, which is a shame and shows how little dedication to storytelling the show has. Many of the stories are one-off affairs where a new conflict arises and is resolved often through the actions of the monster, his sister Tracy, and their ghost Johnny the Ghost. They often learn nothing and gain nothing from these adventures. If anything, they set a dangerous moral precedent, but I'll get into that more later. Compare this show to the Overwatch cutscenes. You can see those on YouTube for free, unlike this which you have to see on TV with cable or on Amazon Prime. Characters like Mercy and Winston and Soldier 76 have character. They have depth. You can relate to them on every level when they look good too. The characters in this show don't look good and cannot be related to. Their struggles have meaning to me because they act like infantile white children. While I am a child at heart, I am an adult in my mind. Really, people expect intelligence from the media they consume. This is basic stuff. You can really see the Blizzard touch whenever DVA moves around and gets into wacky situations with her robot. Ironically, this adds more soul than even the ghost character, Johnny B. Dead, in Monsters by Mistake. Likewise, it is often when I am talking about the art of animation, if you want something right, you gotta get it done Japanese. I am an otaku after all. I'm reminded of a Japanese 3D animation show by the name of Beastars, which is likewise about a monstrous child getting into misadventures with a female companion against an evil force in the world. But unlike Monsters by Mistakes, there is an emotional thorough line as the main character, Lugosi, a reference to the actress who played the werewolf in original Dark Universe movies from the 50s, Bela Lugosi, learns how to have sex and kill. Something the so-called monster in this dirty diaper of a show never does. The so-called monster by mistake is truly a monster in name only. And whereas Beastars is still remembered fondly by members of the animation community to this day, no one even cares about this Canadian catastrophe. Yes, the animation does improve later, but it's still bad. I have basically now listed the whole story and the whole characters, and I could be done here. Really, I could. There is very little to this show, that is to say there is not a lot to this show. How this show should ever got a single season, let alone a second one, is a mystery and an insult to me personally. Okay. Enough beating around my bushes. Why many of you wanted me to talk about this show and what you all clicked on the video for will now be talked about. The man who made this show, Mac Mickelson, has a long and sad history that is too complex to get into. But he might or might be a Nazi or a racist, or worst of all, even an SJW feminist. The evidence for this is in the show itself, and any smart, informed viewer will notice this soon, or if not later. A really quite upsetting and vile thing that happens frequently in this show, which is truly upsetting, is that sometimes when put into a situation of mortal peril and true evil danger, the main trio will offer forgiveness and quarter to real villains. This is a bad message. Some people deserve no forgiveness. Never ever. Imagine if Navy Team SEAL 6 gave Osama bin Laden a free pass when they were doing a raid on his secret compound. We would have had a second 911 by now, or worse. Morality is not black and white issue. Oftentimes things are shade of gray. Those who think the world are not gray are wrong, and that's simply the facts. To deny that is stupid and wrong. Any centrist like myself can tell you this. If this is what Mac truly believes, then he should not be allowed to make shows for children, or children who are adults at heart like myself, or vice versa. He should be held accountable for the crimes to which he has committed and go to Canadian, or preferably American jail, since they are better at punishing people. Furthermore, the SJW morals of kindness towards animals and frugality are shared again. Yes, this was common back in the darker ages of cartoon, but this doesn't excuse the bad and damaging moral lessons. Surely bad ideas like this have wreaked untold damage upon the youth and may be responsible for today's horrible situation. So now you know what the deal is. I hope I never have to see it again. Throughout the year I have been getting progressively sadder and sadder, and this review did not help me. I hope you are happy and satisfied with what you made me do. I am not happy. What I am happy about is the amount of money and support all the people on Patreon are giving to me for free. Because of the last video, we have received a lot of complaints regarding the way my editor handled the list of Patreon names. He is going to apologize.
Hello, I'm the video editor for this video, and I'd like to apologies to Aquilene Levigate Dentifrice, Gross Ward, Denir Thimixthin, Suenix Bandana, Cody Land X Kathleen Catharavusa, Verba Tix McGlimmer Kakalina, Womer Rex Marcellus Marcel Exophile, Patroon, Edicablex Taintless Jemmy, Anamorphoscope, Ivaranus Davaro, Destructor Peggy, Counterintelligence Bacchanalia, Wallachia, Comintern Greenling, Ormond Botanical, Institutionalize, Refusal Tempe, Cerament, Wichita Tax Cut, Countryman Remontanti Ounce, Self-Absorbed Breech Block, Wispy Hibbert, Lethargy All-Purpose, Kiloliter Paepus Amadas, Spraddle Pedaway, Sunroom X Atrophied, Tonry, Body Chit Primatory, Intro, Blakely, Koteri Fiana, Viveka, Cage Pemilapa Mix Coppery, Hollow Man, Farcesis Luther Norville, Athali, Daubipinat Vida, Porky, Campion, Contrived Melon Sacramentarian, Operate, Zin, Barkley X Brian, Naughty Nitrification Isel, Cali Stare Respondents, Rebecca Adair, Double-Edged Freddy, Fadden, Strew Slorp, Vantha Jolly X Winburn, Sida, Wealth, Half Track X Gooseberry, H Sinking Prana, Amund Second X Hymenthroterus, Flagrant Gilmore Elflock, F. Emisema Bedstraw, Osteoma Wrangler, Hypostasis Waltz, Meehan Brogdon, Ignoble Gallinaceus Rabinurada, Directory, Gilder Chromatex Jazzia, Injurious Igorn Bonnie, Bronchi Fathead X Biddle, Angus Spacian, Samarim X Marino X Kirkman, Revolution X Daylex Vital, Innate, Single Cross Kaufman, Tushy Palladium, Clavis Steve, Innsbruck XO, Wakesel, Golter Cummins Slake Finnace, Rebound, Wilson Wilt, Lydell, Mikhail Femininity, Mitra, Apis Moscow, Stinger Janice, Boar Scansian Coonhound, Brown, Chansey Cotylate Mandy, Scatole, Microfilm Genovera, Asquith X Panathene, Marillair Lind Music, Tryptophanada Lantiquity, Laughing Heterotheus, Nosology, Bachelor Flack, Meltage Piano Wax Consideration, Rexer Hana, Koi Carinas Carcinate, Lecky Sulfamarazine, Melee, Necking Triplex, Scratch Bowl, Hollis, Tora, Wicket Keeper, Sham Adiel, Plaintiff Melt, Babellium Zubkov, Matrimonial Goad Bootstrap, Hobby, Conchita Fraternal, Spirula Waits, Nothosexra Beneficent, Triphammer, Bodden Squelch, Heifer, Contradiction, Kudu, Sanfo Touch, Electrothermal Xanthema, Oven Bird Nonplus, Rivi, Erxwiscent Fetter, Heroic Cypress Senpal, Lee, Phantasm, Maddie Madding Showpalson, Unaware Butterfish, Trip X Fung, Lucadian, Algaromant Bathnethendrin, Withem Squidishy, Capius, Lucky Septet, Holtz Peronius, Sorocorientalize, Olathadorn, Hospitium, Divorce Field, Pike Hale X Namera Ax Peru, Evitable Gunnar Marnie, Glenoid X Disquieting Disconnected, Howsoever, Limbiggers, Autili, Stychinik Coramus Formidity, Broiler Brown Nangara, Pragmatism Sejum Boy, Morphinism, Randall, Nary Nandalia, Lobster Beluga, Revere Association Mayo, Bencia Narcissism, Dewey Caldar, Meddlesome, Distrustant Dancing, Ridigo, Bijuter, Lipboard, Delapico, Lara Jig, Kingery, Reest Rackrent, Mindio La, Anlas, Wigan Wilda, Full Grown, Intravasation Lake, Ellipticity Legde, Ray Bell, Tilling Nitron, Hanover, Anastasia, Bertrand, Delbert Burning Jackass, Regula Blintertaining, Strephon Cruciferous, Plantag Net, Iberian Rodenticide, Overland X-Foring Aco, Penella Plain Ancient, Ask With, Halometry, Redware, Pero Empathy, Thessalonian, Suret Placable Olivieras, Shoals Alexandrovsk, Downwash Karam Lengben, Suduth Permittivity, Charioteer Thibaltophilus, Brightness Ex-Dermatologist, Belinda, Alid is Poppycock, Hoffer Toppertoon, Clubwoman Forchet, Percussive Mondrian Sudi Sudnor, Osteotoma Griffy Gaddy, Hereabout, Opinionated Ascarid X Reeves, Zirkle Coney Jed, Zygodactyl, Pez Jisak Cali, Court, Pilchard, Christalex Fossil, La Follette, Mortgage Gerontox Disestablished, In Hull Box, Mandrill X Robinette Olmsted, Stib Night Alien, Hetzel, Neutral Aspirant Challenge, Blah Theodore, Angela G. Purdom, Solange Solano, Maulette Trento Muenster, Fulvus Langley Rid, Dieppe Tears Buckaroo, Vinia, Overturn Conjunction, Trapes, Enterostomy, Disobedient, Bill Cups, Rocco, Derek Dariella Fred, Luke Domi, Marnie, Abek Segzug Swing, Impossible Warehescock, Chlorothiazide, Deleba, Alemani, Re-elected Inexact, Deflected Newell Lazzle, Incunabolum Monastral Cheta, Campos Gangrel Withdrawn, Permanent Monik Zwark, Tombach Frosty, Holland Sinclair, Gabber Penetrate Coddle,